Hello everyone and welcome to our weekly highlight show, Grid Vision Weekly. This week we're going to cover the last 2 weeks of NiS action as we had a double dose of road courses. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below as well as support us on Patreon. Our link is in the description. Let's jump straight into NiS action from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We're going to kick off our action on lap number 21 as leader Adam Williams overcooks the entry of turn number 12. He struggles to get around a lap car on entry and goes off into the grass. That gives Andrew Dyson in the one car an opportunity to slip by for the lead into turn number 13. Unfortunately, Andrew could not stay there for long. Our next highlight comes on lap number 25 as Andrew Dyson dives to the inside of lap car Jose Acosta into the dreaded turn 7. Acosta doesn't use all the track on exit and sends our race leader through the grass and down the running order. I really don't know what Acosta was thinking there as he cost Dyson a chance for the win. We're going to skip ahead to the final lap as we see the beneficiary of Williams and Dyson's misfortunes. That driver was Rodrigo Narvaez, as he was the only one of the leaders to run a clean race from start to finish. I was a little worried that the pack of lap cars would cost Narvaez as well, but he was intelligent enough to not push the issue with lap traffic and came through to the line to win the NiS Open race at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Race number 24 of our 36 race season saw an SOF of 2,614. Sunday morning's running of the NiS Open was actually the highest SOF of the week, and the winner of that race was Jacob Schneider. The top 12 finishing positions of our broadcasted running was first place Rodrigo Narvaez, second Andrew Dyson, third Adam Williams. The rest of the top 12, fourth Neil Pearson, fifth the Butcher Lamperti. Toga Hisada was in sixth place, seventh place was Abner Acosta, eighth Jonathan Oshelin, ninth Sean Conklin, 10th place was JR Borborema, followed by John Payson in 11th and Justin Lowry in 12th. Now we're going to jump into our highlights from our second road course race in a row from Watkins Glen International. This race ended up being the Garrett Maines show as the driver of the number 1 Ryko Performance Mustang started the race in P7 and had somehow managed to take the lead entering the final corner of the first lap. Here we see Maines dive to the outside of race leader Neil Pearson on the entry to turn number 6. Pearson puts up as much of a fight as he could, but Maines was just too strong for Pearson to handle in turn 7. Garrett Maines takes the lead coming out of the corner and never looks back. We're going to jump all the way to the final lap as the lead never switched hands throughout the rest of the event. We see Garrett Maines coming through the final corner to win the Friday night NiS Open from Watkins Glen International as he led the race from wire to wire. Congratulations to Garrett Maines for putting on a dominating performance. The second race of our doubleheader highlight show at Watkins Glen International saw an SOF of 2,568 as Garrett Maines led all 45 laps of the race. Our podium finishers were Garrett Maines in first, Sean Conklin in second, and Andrew Dyson in third. The rest of the top 12, Trent Dinkle in fourth, Neil Pearson in fifth, Richard Garcia in sixth, seventh place was Rodrigo Narvaez, eighth, Lawrence Shaughnessy, ninth place was Matthew Martell, 10th, JR Borborema, 11th place was Tyler Marble, and 12th place was Vincent Crowe, who I must say had a really terrible Quinn Houth tribute paint scheme. Next up, we're going to look at our NiS point standings after race number 25 of the NiS Open season. It seems to be a 4-horse race as the rest of the pack has fallen off of our top 4 contenders of Garrett Maines, Chris Wilhite, Nicholas Roman, and Joseph Joseph. Next week, we will be at the wild card race of Daytona International Speedway, followed by Darlington and Kansas. Before we take a look at our upcoming schedule, I'm going to throw it over to my good friend Taylor Burris as he had a sit-down interview with Louis Salmoso as they discuss the new formation of Legacy Academy.
Welcome to another edition of the iRacers download from the Speed Sport Podcast Studio, powered by My Race Pass. Taylor Burris here as we give you all the news of the week here in the world of iRacing. But we have a special guest joining us, and of course it is none other than Louis Salmoso, who is of course the head factor and one of the founding members of a brand new training program for drivers who want to work their way up into the world of eNASCAR competition. And Louis, first and foremost, welcome to the iRacers download. I have to say, it's exciting to hear about how this new program that you, along with Randall Falks, have come up together with partnership with Legacy Esports.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Well, first and foremost, let's delve into the idea of growing drivers. We see it a lot in the real world racing. Drivers going to schools, training programs, as well as working with teams that are maybe satellite teams to work their way up into more of the factory level programs, or in a sense, the higher rated teams. If you think about it, from the NASCAR standpoint, drivers who race for Junior Motorsports end up going to something like a Hendrick Motorsports, or drivers who race for Joe Gibbs Racing Xfinity team go into Joe Gibbs Racing Cup team as we deal into the more of the NASCAR side of things. So walk us through how this new program that you have is kind of similar to what we're seeing.
Those were very good comps to what we wish this can become one day, right? A direct pipeline of new racers, existing racers, people that have been around the sport for a long time, and has been looking for that extra edge, either being a little bit of coaching, a little bit of expertise on racecraft overall, right? How to become a little bit faster, a little bit more consistent throughout a race. Even when you go into the upper echelons of especially eNASCAR within the iRacing community, you need to be able to develop setups, work on your car, understand what you as a driver need to have in order to be that tenth of a second over 20 laps that will make the difference between finishing first or finishing 20th in a eNASCAR Coca-Cola series, for instance, right? And th- building that pipeline of talent is something that is extremely complicated within this ecospace because the competition is ferocious when a talent emerges from the ranks of official races within the iRacing community. Normally, you see an existing team trying to get that talent to join their ranks, or even a lot of the existing setup shops, they have their own race teams now. They try to recruit that person to go race with them. So it's very rare that you can have an unattached or someone that is not affiliated with an existing program to get a shot at a standalone team that has been around for 3, 4, 5 years, competing at the highest levels like Legacy Esports has, right? Legacy has drivers in the Coca Cola Series, top split, second split, third split of Roto Pro, winning races on every single level. So it's very rare that you have that shot. And that's kind of the idea behind this program. Start to investigate within the community and opening its doors a little bit to the secrets behind what makes a team like that so successful. How is that their drivers go about learning how to become top level drivers? What do they do every race? How they approach a scenario? How they work setups? What is the building methodology? How much work do you need to put in order to become better, right? So that's kind of the idea that drove us to see, can we build something like that? Can we recruit people that have the same mindset that we have of we want to race, we want to be as best as we can be, if that is someone that can reach a contender series, top road to pro, even Coke series level, or if someone that just wants to be extremely good week in and week out at the official level, right? So we're starting, we put kind of that program together. We're not going to like recruit massive amounts of people. We're looking for a couple of individuals, 5, 6, 10 at the most, to see if we can get that commitment, that type of person that wants to come in, learn. I think the best example that we have within the iRacing community is not on the NASCAR side per se, would be more on the road. That would be Apex UK, that has a legit top tier team. Everybody knows that they run in all the top series, including the Porsche World Championship. But they also have a UK Academy team, which is a as good as the first team, but a second tier for up and coming drivers, right? People that are brand new to the scene, that are trying to make their way, and if they are the type of drivers, if they commit and they can put in the hours and they show the results, they get bounced to the top team. That's kind of the same principle that we are looking at for, to get out of this. And if some of the results in quote unquote recruiting that we already started to see are any indication of potential success, I think this has all he has the correct recipe for success.
And now you mentioned you're only taking a select few drivers, and you mentioned some of the qualities that you're looking for. What does it take to be committed to racing at the top echelons of top split NIS or A or C Open, and then of course the Road to Pro qualifying series, whether it be of course the Road to Pro Truck Series or the Contender Series that we'll see later on in 2023? Of how much work and dedication that you have to put in, because we see how much time the drivers in the NASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series put in. You know, we've talked to some of those drivers of how many hours they have to put in testing to prepare just for one race leading up to it. So what is that same mentality going to be for those in the academy, as well as for maybe drivers on Legacy Esports who are racing in those other series?
Yeah, I think we can answer that from the back to the front. I can tell you first and foremost what we are not looking for, right? And I think what we're not looking for, and this is something that I don't think any top team would open its doors for a driver or even someone involved that just show up and race. Oh, I'll grab a setup, I will do something, I will just show up, no practice, and just race. That is the absolute opposite of what we are looking for. You mentioned the eNASCAR Coca-Cola drivers. Our own drivers are putting in 3, 4, 5,000 laps between races to prepare for a 120, 150 lap race. So it's a massive commitment of time to get to that level, right? It doesn't have to be like that for some who are expecting to achieve the people that we will some we have already selected is when you are on, and let's not pretend that people don't have a life outside of this, right? Uh, Myself, I work regular hours, 9 to 5, have a family, have the whole thing, have a limited amount of hours to be uh, involved in the sim. But once you are on, our expectation is that what you are trying to do is everything possible to become better. That can be, I want to learn how to better fine tune any setup that we have to fit my driving style, to make the car do what I want to do to be better. Either being testing together with the rest of the team, trying to figure out ways to make a car for a specific series, for a specific race better. I just want to work on my racecraft. So I'm going to go to the track and I'm going to do lap after lap. I'm going to race. I'm going to do something. I'm going to test. But I will be practicing my craft. I will be working on, hey, I don't like short tracks. So, well, you know what? I'm going to work on short tracks. I'm going to go. I'm going to race. I'm going to race fixed setup so I don't have to worry about adjustments. I can just drive the car, get the feeling, understand how the good short track racers do it, and continue to work on your craft. Not race for just race. Like this is arcade. Oh, if I crash, I just reset and race the next one. That's not the mentality that we are looking for, right? So that's why the people that are going to be joining us, we are asking them to be more committed into running open setup series within the R racing community, to have that need to, I need to understand what my card's doing. I need to be able to get feedback to the builders that we have on the team if they are not one of those, if they don't have the understanding yet on how to build the car from scratch. What is it that they want the car to be able to do, and what are the changes that they need to make? So what we're looking is, if you have an hour a day, an hour a week, it doesn't really matter. But what we expect is once you are on, to be 100% on, looking for that improvement. And it takes time, it takes years. We've seen drivers take years to get to, even to get by the first rounds of Road to Pro, to get to a contender series. You got to, let alone to get to a Coke series level. So it is a work in progress. You need to understand how to get there. And the only way that you do, the people that do, are the ones that are working consistently on their craft, on how to get better, and don't treat this like arcade, like video game, like console, right? This is not something that you can just reset and go. No, we want the people that even if you are not racing and all you do is test, and that's what you want to do, fine, not a problem at all. But you are working towards getting better, and by that you will make the entire team better.
A quick question regarding that, because of drivers who prefer testing and everything. We see drivers who try to test with, even the AI system. I even know a couple of drivers over at Legacy who had utilized the AI to help with the testing of setups for building their setups for the A Open or the trucks or the Xfinity cars. With the continuation that we see with iRacing's growth, as far as the updates that we're going to be seeing in the coming months, especially with the new oval updates, as well as also the addition of other features coming, do you feel like that AI system, for those who don't want to maybe go into the official races, but to help improve their racecraft, without risking that I rating or safety rating, but also want to be able to contribute to the team, do you feel like that AI is a good way to help builds a racecraft, as well as also help with fine-tuning the setup to fit either the team's setup or even the driver's personal needs for a particular setup?
I think it does help a lot, especially. And I understand that the AI is still a work in progress, right? They're trying to make the AI better every release, every time that they bring something new. They're trying to make the AI less of a robot where everybody's just running side by side and the whole thing. But the simple fact that you can have a a consistent response from the AI, and you kind of know that hey, depending on how much aggressiveness do you set from the AI, how competitive do you want them to be, they will throw their car inside of a turn that is going to force you out of your lane. So it's not that old style of I'm just going to race against the computer so easy to beat. I can beat them by 2 laps. Not with this AI that we have right now. So for some tracks, it has helped us a lot trying to understand pace, where we are. Even if you set up the AI in a certain way, it does give you the ability to run in a pack, for instance, in a super speedway. If you don't want to go, and if you don't want to spend a week crashing at Daytona or Talladega preparing for a race, you can just run the AI as many times as you want, and that will give you almost the exact same feel of how your car is going to behave in a pack at maximum speed. And depending on the adjustments, you can get as close as possible to the final product without even joining a race, right? So it has helped us a lot. We have used it a ton, especially on the weeks that we don't have the official series on iRacing matching the week prior to the race that we're preparing for. So that is very useful, and we have used it at every level from A Open, C Open, Roto Pro, Contender, and Coke Series races.
It's really impressive. And as we come to a close on this interview, Lewis, first and foremost, where can people go to learn more about the Academy, but also if they feel like they have what it takes to be a part of Legacy Academy, where can they go to sign up?
The easiest way to find information, look for our official profile from Legacy Esports on Twitter or X, right? There you will find a very recent post from the first, I think was the first day of August, mentioning the Academy, a link to our form that is going to ask you a bunch of questions about what are you looking for, what type of races have you done, how well how aware are you with the concepts of building setups and the whole thing, and also explains what is our initial goal. We will be competing primarily focusing on 2 series. We're not going to try to tackle the world. We're going to be focusing on the Roto Pro / C Open races within the iRacing community, trying to prepare for anybody that wants to take a shot at Roto Pro next year. That's what we're going to do. And also the next gen series, both A Open, the NiS series, trying to support our team, the drivers running the Coke series, as to develop, to train, to come up with different stuff. So go to Twitter, try to find the Legacy Esports profile. You'll see I believe the the post for the academy is even pinned on one of the first ones. So very easy to find. The form is right there. If you cannot find it, you can search me on Discord or even on Facebook, Luis Salmoso with SLuisSalmaso. Pretty easy to find. There's only me. I'll be glad to ask and to answer any questions, point you anybody that wants to talk to us, wants to see if this is for them. Like I said, we are not going to take a lot of drivers on this first attempt, even to see if this is something that can actually work. But if he does, I'm pretty sure this is going to become a recurring theme. And if maybe now, in 6 months to a year, we're probably going to have this coming along again and again. So if you're interested, if you're listening, you're interested, please reach out to us. We'll gladly talk to you. We'll gladly work with you. And even if it's not right now, we're going to keep an eye out for you, because some of the guys that we already identified who have applied are people that we have our eye on for at least 2 years now. So it's a recurring thing, and talent is something that we want to cultivate, but we also want to give the opportunity for people that just want to do this for fun and want to have a good time. So don't be a stranger. We'll be looking for everybody that wants to reach out.
Well, Lewis, thank you so much for your time, and good luck to both Legacy Esports with their drivers in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, as well as those who are in the second round of the Road to Pro qualifying series in 2023. We look forward to seeing who are those chosen drivers to join the Academy later on in 2023, going into 2024.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity. Thanks for the space to say a couple of words. And yeah, we should have the final roster starting on the season 4 of iRacing coming up on this later part of the year. So, and watch out, we have some pretty heavy hitters on our NASCAR team on the Coke Series. So, shout out to Garrett Lowe, who made the playoffs. Watch out, he's going to be one to deal with.
He certainly is. Looking forward to it. That is, of course, Luis Salmoso, who is one of the head directors of the Legacy Academy. And, of course, this is the iRacers download from the Speed Sport Podcast Studio, powered by MyRacePass.
Thanks to Taylor Burris for getting us that interview with Luis Salmoso. You can turn into more interviews like that by catching the iRacers download from the Speed Sport Podcast Network on your favorite podcast service. To wrap things up for this edition of Grid Vision Weekly, we're going to take a look at our upcoming schedule. On Tuesday night at 9 Eastern, we're going to broadcast the season finale of the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series as they head to Phoenix Raceway. On Wednesday at 8:30 Eastern, you'll catch us live from the Pocono Mountains as we call the Thunderclap iRacing Series. At 9 Eastern on Friday night, we're headed to the high banks of Daytona, where we're sure to see a hell of a race. And we'll finish off the week by going to the Milwaukee Mile as we watch the stars of the Global Racing League Truck Series tackle a new challenge. We hope to see you at each of these events. That's going to finish off this episode of Grid Vision Weekly. We'd like to extend our gratitude to Randall Fox for photography, James South and Brian Britt for handling all of our social media channels, Taylor Burris for his cutting-edge interviews, and Austin Derbyshire for being the best C-tier producer an iRacing broadcast network could ask for. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel, as well as consider donating to our Patreon. I've been your host, Austin Edstrom, and until next time, keep those hedges trimmed and your driveway clean.